Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another splendid episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he always asks for a cheap burrito because he loves the combination of chicken and beef. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner we have that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Fresh off a trip from Tokyo, Japan. No cap, straight facts, worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. You see, we have a special guest tonight, a man who is actually responsible for capturing all the action and capturing your favorite wrestler or capturing your favorite wrestler's good side, and it's not an easy task. Trust me, I can tell you, because I've tried to do it myself, and I was like, I'll go back to being a fan. But he's very talented, and he's making a big name for himself in the great state of Georgia, home of Southern hospitality. Shout out to the great folks over there in Georgia as well. Everybody, welcome to the show, the owner of Mr. Watkins Photography, Matt Watkins. How you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, yeah. We've been so I don't know if you know, but we've been seeing your work for a bit. We've been seeing your work for a bit. And I think we may have used a couple of your photos to promote our shows for our past guests. By the way, thank you for not suing us, because we definitely don't have any money for a copyright infringement or using somebody else's work. And we didn't mean anything by it. It's just, we just wanted to make the person look good, you know what I'm saying? So thank you very much for not doing that. But by the way, man, your work is phenomenal, man. I just gotta say, I'm like just blown away, like how talented, like a lot of not just you, but like just ringside photographers in general are, man. I mean, it's just amazing. I don't know how y'all do it, but keep on
Gotta
doing it.
feet, Gotta be quick on your feet and quick with the trigger finger, so to speak.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember one time it was not WrestleMania week last week, but it was WrestleMania week the not WrestleMania week last year, not WrestleMania season last year, but it was WrestleMania season the year before when it was in LA. And I went to a show. I think it may have been Pandemonium. And I was like, let me give this thing a shot. I mean, I wasn't their actual ringside photographer. I was just a fan with a camera. And I was like, let me give this thing a shot. And some of my pictures came out blurry. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just go sit. I'm gonna go back to my chair and sit. I mean, it's not really my thing at all.
Yeah, action photography is a whole nother game. Things are moving fast. You got to crank the shutter speed up. That's where you got that motion blur. You got to crank the shutter speed up, um, so you can catch every little detail right there.
So the higher the speed, the more you're able to capture it. Because I'm sorry. Go
The
ahead.
the higher the shutter speed, the more you can freeze the action. You got to crank the shutter speed up to I shoot at like 1/1000th of a second.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, because I do photography as well. I have my own little photography brand, Blue Cap Visions, and I started like roughly 3 years ago, and I've been great in my opinion so far with what I've been doing, which is mostly like still shots. I do a lot of cosplay, and I've gotten to like go like to even other countries and shoot with people as well. But man, the action stuff is just like I think that's one of my weaknesses. Action shoots and well, action catching action shots, and also like nighttime shoots. Those are my two weaknesses. Other than that, I think I
The
pretty much have a lot of things down packed for the most part.
the action shots are what get me. I think it got me because I used to skateboard like growing up and stuff. And skateboarding, I shot skate videos in high school, so that was filming, not shooting photos. But I think it was just the idea of capturing the action is like what drew me in.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you, man. you know, we're gonna dial it back a bit. How did you become a fan of professional wrestling? What was the match or the event that got you going? Yo, y'all got a fan of me for life now, man.
That was a long time ago. I can't remember the exact moment, man. I was young. Like, I go back and I watch wrestling videos sometimes. Like I get on Peacock and go run it back to the old WCW, um, right pre-attitude era. Um, and it's kind of a blurred line of where it started. I can't ever quite pick up. It's like I'll watch some old stuff, and growing up, I feel like, at least like when I was in my teens and stuff, I don't feel like I remembered Surfer Sting, but now I go back and there's like a couple matches I've watched, and I was like, I swear I saw this match as a kid. I was like, but how did it not register that this was the same guy as Crow Sting? Maybe that was just part of being a kid, and back then, without everything being on the internet, you don't notice some of the changes. I don't know what you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Like with Sting, that kind of got me too because I remembered, Sting was he had the buzz cut, the bleach blonde, flat top buzz cut dude that he had, and then I got so accustomed to seeing him do that, but then all of a sudden, like I barely noticed that he dyed his hair black. There was a part where he was doing the transition to the Crow, where he had like his hair, like I think it was like a dark brown,
mhm.
and I barely noticed that. I'm like, okay, wow, didn't even know he did that. And then all of a sudden now, like you just like it wasn't until I saw the Crow transformation, I was like, wow, he really like we really saw an evolution before our eyes. And it's just it's just amazing that it's right there, but you just have to look closely to see it.
Yeah, but if we were to say like my first wrestling show, like I was at the '98 Monday Nitro in Atlanta when Goldberg beat Hulk Hogan for the World Championship. He's still on his undefeated streak. I think I was like 9 years old. Um, I remember being at the Georgia Dome with my parents, and my brother. Um,
Wow, that
so I
must that
think at that point it was pretty official that I was locked in.
that must have been that crowd must have been crazy when that happened. I remembered I was in Guyana, which is where I'm from, and I was in my aunt's bedroom watching that particular match, and I was like, Goldberg versus Hogan. Wow, how's this gonna go? I gotta see, like, is he really gonna go cleanly over Hogan? Because at that time, Goldberg would still have his streak, like he was unstoppable. And I was like, nah, no way, Hogan, no way he's gonna beat Hogan. Hogan's gonna find some way to, screw this guy over out of the win and whatnot. He might even get his first loss. And lo and behold, he beat Hogan cleanly, straight and cleanly. I was like, wow, this is new. This is
Like
this
I,
is something.
I clearly remember Hogan when they were outside the ring, and Hogan pulls out the chair, and Hogan starts beating him with the chair. And I remember my mom, not even a wrestling fan. My mom was not a wrestling fan, but she was a fan of Goldberg. Both my parents were fans of Goldberg. They went to UGA. That's where they met. And Goldberg played football at UGA, and then for like a season or two, I think played football at the Falcons. But so between just Goldberg's physique and then the football career, my parents, well, my mom was a big fan in that sense. My mom was standing up in her seat screaming at the Georgia, and she's not even a wrestling fan. That tells you the energy that match brought. It was wild. I remember that.
Wow, that must have been something. I think you're like the first fan we've had on here that said they were here. They were there when Goldberg beat Hogan cleanly. Now we just need to find a fan that was there for the finger poke of doom. And I would like to hear what the crowd's reaction was when that happened, because that was another interesting time in WCW. So who were some of your favorites? So you've already established that you used to go to the shows. Who were some of your favorites that you enjoyed watching growing up?
Um, so it was weird. I had I think something that a lot of kids did, and that was that I watched when I was in like elementary school, and then I think by the time I got to around seventh grade, it got to the point where it's like, you find out that it's scripted, and some of your friends start making fun of you or whatever. So then I had this gap of like not watching. But growing up, I want to say the guys I love to watch were Sting, Goldberg, big fan of Ray. I loved Chris Jericho back then. It's crazy the man's still wrestling today.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure I saw him as well that night at the Dome, so that's crazy. Um, but yeah, I'd say my biggest, yeah, Sting, Goldberg, DDP, Macho Man. I was a big fan of Macho Man at the time. Nobody quite did that elbow drop like he did back in the day.
I don't think there's anybody that could still do that elbow drop the way he did today. I mean, I haven't seen the only other person that may come close would have been Shawn Michaels, but that's about it. I don't think there's anybody that has done the elbow drop as clean and crisp as Randy Savage has. Maybe one day it'll be somebody will, but right now it's like it's all Randy, man. Nobody's come close to except Shawn Michaels has come close to doing that elbow drop as good as him.
And
Yeah,
something about the
Randy
story,
Savage. Yeah, when you
man.
watch his elbow drop, though, yeah, he looks like he grabs the top of this thing. It looks like when he lands, he drives it right into you. Everybody else, when they jump off, it's like, so, yeah. But yeah, so Macho Man, yeah, it looks like yeah, he's crushing you with that thing. He's just yeah, I love that. One of them little things.
Little things, definitely.
Oh yeah. So, did you ever get to meet any of them growing up, or I mean, not
Um,
growing up, but I mean, go
I
ahead.
think I can't recall 100% for sure, but I believe I did meet Buff when I was growing up. I
Okay.
actually in fourth grade I was in class with his niece. Um,
Okay.
I remember for sure getting like a black and white signed like 8x10. But I think he came in once for like career day or something. But I can't remember exactly. It was a long, long time ago.
Man, that must have been a cool career day for her, man. Bringing in your uncle who's a pro wrestler, Uncle Buff.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
The funny thing is, I used to be a fan of the American Males when they had that tag team, and I thought they were like the coolest things since sliced bread. And lo and behold, I recently met him at WrestleCon in Indianapolis, and I told him I was like, "Yo, you guys, man, you guys were like my second favorite tag team because my first favorite tag team were the Rockers, and after that, after they broke up, I didn't really have another favorite tag team until him and Scotty Riggs formed the American Males. So, but yeah, it's definitely something like meeting the people that you grew up watching, like right there.
Oh yeah, it's wild. It's like a full circle moment. It's like, oh wow.
Oh yeah. So now that you're a fan and you're going to the shows and you're, cheering your favorites, and you're supporting the business and you're booing the bad guys and everything. How did your journey go from Matt Watkins, Mr. Watkins, wrestling fan, to now, um, you know, Mr. Watkins, the photographer, the go-to guy, or one of the go-to people when you want to actually um, get that good, get that good shot of yourself in the ring, or that creative portfolio. Like how did that all happen for you?
Uh, the WWA 4.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I found out about the A4. It's crazy. I actually live just a few miles down the street from the WWA 4. And I had some friends tell me about it. They're like, "Yeah, let's go. They do a free show on Thursday nights. We can go to this training school, watch this free show." And I was like, "I'd never heard about this before." I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And I went up there a few times and I watched the shows. I saw some some pretty good matches. I was impressed. I was like, this is cool. There's something about when you go to the Four on a Thursday night and you see a show there. It's a special place. There's no place quite like the Four, and it really drew me in. And I had seen some other people had taken pictures and were posting pictures. And at the time, Demarie Interface, he had previously been taking pictures there, but he wasn't shooting there much anymore. And so I don't know. I wasn't seeing a lot of pictures come out of there, but I saw that people were taking pictures. So I was like, you know, I'll bring my camera up here and see what I could, you know, see if I can do something. Took my camera up there one day, shot, and it's pretty much like an addiction. It's just been up since then. That's like all I've wanted to do, and it's just evolved from there. That was probably when I started shooting. The first time I shot and then uploaded was in the beginning of January 24.
Okay. Wow, and you've been doing great since then, man. I tell you, y'all, Georgia got some talent because I've seen Interfaces work, and then there's also Desiree who does DO for or do photography. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Yep,
And I'm
Desert.
like, y'all are just killing it down there, man. Like these shots, man. I'm like, woo.
We've
If I
also
ever
got
go down,
Ali Mack.
oh right, oh snap, Ali Mac. My apologies.
No, you're good.
Um,
She doesn't shoot as much ringside anymore, but she shoots a lot of amazing, amazing portraits. Works with a very large number of wrestlers.
oh yeah, yeah. I've seen her work too, man. I tell you, the way y'all shoot photos, like when I always say, if I ever go to Georgia, man, I'm gonna try to see if I could, get a portrait of my own, man. I'll pay for it, man. I'm like, yeah, man. I just want that one portrait, man. I'll make sure like I get a shave and everything, when I head down there, and just make sure I look good for the portrait, But with the photography thing, so with the ringside photography, what was a shot that you took that you were like, man, I don't like this shot. I'm just gonna put it up anyways because it's my brand, and I'll just whatever. And then you got like a rave reviews for like you were like, yo, Matt, this shot's fire, man. And you're like, yeah, you think so? I don't know, like, bro, like this should be in a magazine. Have you ever had a shot like that, like since you
Um,
started?
One, I don't know if that has happened as much of me second guessing a shot after the fact. I think something that happens more is me second guessing a shot in the moment. Like I'll be ringside and I'll shoot something and I'll think I didn't get it well, or a lot of times you'll notice, like if you ever pay attention, photographers sometimes will snap a few and then run back and go check them real quick and then start snapping again. And sometimes I'll feel like I didn't get something good, but I don't have a lot of time to focus on it, whatnot. Or sometimes I feel like it just doesn't look good in the screen on the camera, like on the LCD. But then I get home, I upload it, and I pull it up and start to edit it, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be. That's one of the best feelings I get after a show, because sometimes it'll be something that I really wanted to get. I didn't think I got it. I'm disappointed in myself. Get home, upload it, and then figure out I did get it. Um, and if I could think of a picture where that happened, if I think of one recently, was it the death match? Okay, so I shot death match. How long ago? It was a few weeks ago. Seven was in town. SVN
Okay,
promotion, and the main event was Coven of the Goat, Nathan Mowry and Tank versus Masada and Hoodfoot.
ooh,
Yeah, and we're outside of the
woo.
ring, and Tank had picked up. There was a light tube rake, a rake that had like 4 or 5 light tubes spanning from it, and
Right.
yeah, so Tank had picked that up and got Hoodfoot with it, and I didn't think I got it or got it well at all, and then I got home and it was way better than I thought it was. I was super hyped because You don't see a lot of light tube breaks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that match. I know you got some crazy shots out for that one because once you mentioned Masada and Hoodfoot, I was like, oh man, that's gonna be messy but great.
We actually got to see Masada and Hoodfoot both wrestle twice that night. They both had their own individual singles matches that night. Masada wrestled Journey Fatu, and then Hoodfoot wrestled.
Ooh.
But then after that, um, whose match was it? I think it was after the Hoodfoot and Cruel match. Masada came out to the ring, and Hoodfoot were sharing some words over the SVN Ultraviolent title. And then Mike G came out and he said, "Look, I know both of you guys want that right now, but we need some people for this tag team tonight. We're putting you guys together, and y'all are gonna wrestle Coven of the Goat."
Wow.
And yeah, so got to shoot them twice in one night, which to me was amazing. I'd never worked with Masada before, so to get to shoot two Masada matches in one night and get some promo shots of him, I was definitely pretty hyped with that.
And on top of that, you got to also work with a or see one of the members of the Samoan dynasty in action, Johnny Fatu.
And Journey Fatu, that man is impressive. Watch out for Journey. I think I see some big things in his future. He's that's just a talented family tree. It's wild.
Oh yeah. And they're huge. It's like so many. Like I just met one the other day when I was in Las Vegas for WrestleMania. He said his name is Damu Anawai. And when I saw him, I was like, because there's two sides. There's the Fatus and there's the Anawais. Um, the Fatu's sister is a member of the Anawai family.
Hmm.
But I met him and I was like, wait, are you part of the dynasty? That like this the You're part of the Fatu family? He's like, yeah, but I'm an Anawai. Like I'm from the Anawai side. I'm like, oh, okay. And I was familiar with it, but yeah, man, I tell you, man, I'm not trying to go off topic. When I see that family, that's just family goals right there. The way they look out for each other, and as long as you work hard, they put each other on. Like it's just like amazing. Like why just the way all of them just bring each other up and so on. It's just cool to see that.
And it's like they just come in these waves, sort of. It's like just
Yeah.
when we think that we've seen all the Fatus, is all of a sudden here another one pops up. Here's another one. It's almost unreal.
Oh yeah, definitely. So now with you're doing great with the ringside photography and everything. You've been killing. Like I said, I'm not just saying this because you're in front of me. You're definitely killing it, man. Where do you see Watkins, Mr. Watkins photography going in the next 5 years? Do you see yourself eventually? Like I know you're based in Georgia, primarily the Atlanta area, but do you see yourself eventually venturing out to, let's say, down south to Florida, maybe up north to South Carolina, North Carolina, maybe out Midwest?
Yeah, and you're not the first person to ask me this question. I've had a couple opportunities pop up where I've been invited, but just not been able to make it to a few out of state shows and events. It's definitely something I want to get into because I definitely want to cover a lot more than what I've gotten to. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm looking into because there's a lot of places I want to go. There's a lot of a lot of the guys are wrestling GCW shows and stuff, and to be able to tag along with some of those and go shoot, or tag along with some of the guys and shoot some of these other. I enjoy the death matches, and we don't get a lot of them here in Georgia. Nathan Mowry recently had started bringing death matches to Georgia. He did the Blood and Honey series. We had 3 of those last year. But for the most part, you do that. You got to go to like Tennessee. You got to go to TWE Arena. That's just a couple hours away. Or you got to go to Florida, or a lot of them I believe are in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and so I want to try to get to more of the GCW shows and stuff. A lot of those are in the Northeast or in California, LA. I definitely need to get to some of those. and just some of the other promotions. I want to shoot, if possible, just about anywhere. Hopefully, though, I would love to shoot, get a media pass in the near future. I want to try to, maybe shoot AEW. I've reached out and talked to Beezy from TNA. Wasn't able to get on there when they were in town last time, but we're definitely what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, we're in communication. He follows me. I followed him back. So hopefully that works out one day.
That's cool, man. I hope you get a chance to, I hope you get the opportunity. I hope you get to go like all over the country as well. I remember there was, I don't know if you noticed one person. Her name is Suna. Um, she's based over in the Pacific Northwest, and Suna Price. That's her name. And I was like, I saw her work. I was like, wow, this is great stuff. And she even took my picture one time when she was in Los Angeles for WrestleMania week as well. And then last year when I was in Philadelphia for WrestleMania again, I saw her and I was like, wait a minute, you're over here? And I was like, wow, well, imagine that. That's great to see, man. Like she was able to get from Seattle over to, Philadelphia, which is like pretty much across the country. And she was working for GCW. And I was like, awesome, that's great. I like that. I like to see people work hard and get opportunities. I'm hoping the same for you, man. That way, when we see GCW or AEW or heck even WWE post your work, I'm like, Mr. Watkins, you did it, man. Doing big things, man. And he was on Ringside Society. There you go.
I made one GCW show here, but yeah, definitely one out of state would definitely be sick. I'd like to make out to one of the shows that Danger wrestles GCW.
Oh, Mr. Danger?
Yeah, that's a friend of mine as well. A bunch of the guys that trained at the Four, like I said, a handful of those guys have made into GCW. Danger, Teriyaki, Jay Lucas, Ariel Van Gogh, Bobby Flacco.
Yeah.
And there will be some more pretty soon. I'm pretty sure. There's always some talent coming out of the Four.
Yeah, the Four is from what I've seen, is a very talented place now. Like we've interviewed pretty much almost every member of Top Team. We've had Nikki Heat on here. We've had several people. Like actually this Friday we have another guy who we're going to announce afterwards too as well. And yeah, y'all are y'all got a lot of talent down there, man. Every time I see the clips, I'm like, woo.
Like AR Fox is the best trainer in the Southeast, maybe in the country. Come on. He's spitting out talent left and right. It's wild. I'm glad Tony has been putting him back on the show. It's been great seeing Fox wrestling on AEW, seeing him on TV.
Yeah, I knew how good he was, like for years. Like I'd say for a decade. I once met him like back in 2012 because he wrestled. I'm in New York. He wrestled over in New Jersey, which is not that far from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, this guy's a beast. And then I saw him wrestle for like CZW, and I was like, this guy needs to be signed. And I'm glad he got the opportunity as well. Like I said, if you know, you know, I know. I'm pretty sure Rob knows. But that man, I'm gonna say it right now. That man should be a world title contender.
Yeah,
The work he has put in, even the Lucha Underground, that man should be a world title contender, and I hope it happens to him very soon.
The Lucha Underground match, the kill shot match.
Oh yeah,
with that is probably my favorite death match to watch to date. Fox and Swerve went absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah. So I just got two more questions before I turn it over to Rob. So, let's say if somebody comes up to you and they see your work. Let's say they're out of town. Let's say they're from, let's say, South Carolina or Florida or maybe somewhere out west, and they just happen to show up at a WBA 4 show or a show that you're working at. And they see your work, and they're like, "Yo, Mr. Watkins, I wanna do what you're doing, man. Like, how do I start off, doing ringside photography and just getting my name out there?" What advice would you give that young man or young woman or that person standing out that's just starting out on how to go about doing ringside photography?
I would suggest, and this is the route that I took. I'd suggest trying to find your local training school. I think a lot of them put on shows. I'm not sure that they're all free. I'm sure, a lot of them do charge, but I'd find your local training school and try to go to whatever shows they have. If they don't have shows, still see if there's somehow they'd let you hang out, shoot. Um, One of the biggest things is building relationships with the wrestlers if you can. Um, I got lucky that coming to the four is just kind of relaxed in a sense when they were doing those live shows. Kind of anybody with a camera had a shot. You know what I'm saying? As long as you were respectful of the area and everything. And that's the best way to start. If you can get around a school and then start making friends with those guys, build your relationships. It opens up a lot of doors for you because you got different guys wrestling in different promotions, and one of them might bring you here, and one of them might bring you here, and it's just networking. You just got to talk to people. Um, and the next thing you know, it spans out.
Ooh. So for those of you that are listening, that are thinking about getting into ringside photography, you've actually heard it. You actually got a little advice from one of Georgia's best ringside photographers here, Matt Watkins. Make sure you let that sink in. And anything else you probably want to get, you might have to hit him up on his Cash App or PayPal. 'Cause he's a busy man. He has a lot going on, but you got a little something courtesy of us here at Ringside Society. Matt, were you going to say something else too, or just?
There was one more thing I was gonna say.
Oh,
If there's not a training school close to you, just find your local indie shows. Go there, take your camera, look for opportunities, talk to the people, talk to the promoters, talk to the wrestlers. Somebody's gonna let you shoot somewhere.
there you go. A little bit more advice too as well for y'all out there. So just remember that. And Matt, my last question before I turn it over to Rob, in regards to photography. I know you've been doing it for a while now. What is the most profound thing you've learned since starting out that will always stick with you throughout you know your photography career?
Um, Man, patience and setting up your settings if you can. Take your time to get things right. Um, you don't want to get home and wish you had taken the extra 30 seconds to get some settings just right instead of rushing and snapping it and not having your exposure and colors how you like before. And you can edit it all afterwards, but there's only so much you can bring back at times. But that's probably it. It's taking time to set up.
Awesome. So, with that being said, once again, I wish you nothing but success. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. Kind of Rob has a couple of questions for you. Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, man. So what's going on, man? Man, how's everything going your way today?
Oh, pretty good, man. Can't complain.
So how's the weather out that way, man? Are you all having is summer there yet? You still got spring, or is it a mix of kind of switching over?
It's still kind of switching over. We still have some days that are in like the low 70s,
Hmm.
but it's starting to get up there into the mid 80s and low 90s here and there. It was rainy today.
Okay, so y'all gotten into the 90s down there?
A little bit here and there. Like I think it might pop up to 87, maybe 91 tops, but I think I've seen it up there once or twice.
That's cool. I think today was like the hottest day so far, man. It got about 86. It hadn't hit 90 here yet. I'm in Delaware. So, it hadn't hit 90 here yet, but yeah, once it does, it's like, oh, here we go. Plus that humidity, around here, it's just like, oh my God. You just walk outside, it's like punching your face. So is
Yeah.
that like is it like that down there? You got a lot of swamps down there?
I mean, not a lot of swamps where I am, but the humidity is definitely nasty.
Mm,
The air
so you
gets
know.
very heavy.
Oh, so you know about that humidity. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have friends, like been over like New Mexico and stuff, and all like, oh man, it'd be 104, but it's a dry heat. You're good. I'm like, Psh. What I mean, 104 is still 104. No matter, I don't care if it's dry heat, humid heat, wet heat, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, nah. So man, I gotta ask, okay, you're where you know you're in Georgia and all that stuff. So where's
Mhm.
like the farthest in Georgia you've traveled so far? Have you just been around your area? Have you gotten the because Georgia's a pretty big state, I think. Have you gotten all the corners yet, man? You know what I mean? I'm trying to compare, I'm like, I live in Delaware. It's like a small state, but I'm trying to
Right.
think of Georgia. Yeah. Have you been to all the corners yet? Or you just like, been just, where you are right now?
I've not been to all the corners yet. I've probably been an hour in each direction. Um, although what's today? Let's see. Saturday is what's Saturday the 7th? The 14th.
Yeah, today's the fourth.
14th, I should be going to Dublin, Georgia, I believe, not Ireland, Dublin, Georgia. It's down right south of Macon. That'll be a couple hours from me. Uh,
Okay.
that should be a good show. Matt Hardy is going to be there, and
Oh, nice.
I believe Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson. My guy Bryce Cannon asked me to come to that one.
That's pretty awesome. That's awesome, man. So is that like is that the next show you got up on tap for you, or you got something else? Are you kind of busy through this summer?
I've got that lined up. I've got Nathan Mowry's Blood and Honey shows. I believe we're having one in June, one in July, and I think there should be another one coming after that, probably in August. Only the June one officially has been announced, but I believe we're gonna have one each month, and that should be pretty good. I try to make all the action shows. I know there's an action show next Friday. I should be going to that one, and it's about all I have lined up. At that I can't forget the Now That's Wrestling. Now That's Wrestling shows. We just had one on Monday. That was a fantastic show. Um, believe I can't say for sure, but I believe we're supposed to be actually moving weekly with that, which is crazy. A weekly indie show, but it is on a reality TV network, so um, it's a little bit different than some of the other shows in the indie business. And they think they can run that often. I think they can do it. I'm interested to see.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. I've worked for 1CW, and we got we're an indie plate, and we're on Delmarva Sports Network, and it's like a little regional thing, and we're every week, every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. You know what I mean? Bam, we got it. So but it's only an hour. The episode's only an hour and stuff. So yeah, I think there's only like 3 or 4 matches at a time, and then
Mm-hmm.
so like we had a show last week, 2 weeks ago. Usually takes about a month for those shows, start getting on TV. About a month and a half, something like that. So when you're out there shooting, man, how many times does the ref get in the way? Because when I'm refing, sometimes like Papa Scott, he's recording for TV or whatever. I'm moving into action, and I'll step right in his way. I'll feel a little, or then, okay, I got to step this way, or okay, let me step this way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes I don't feel, and people like, damn it, you was in my way. Oh, I'm sorry. Does that ever happen? You know what I mean?
And there's only one or two refs I've ever actually like tapped their foot or their ankle, and it's usually guys that I know really well. But
Yeah.
no, that happens all the time, and I try to just work around it to the best of my ability. There's definitely been times where I miss the shot, or it's like you'll see, like I'll have the shot framed up like perfectly, and then all of a sudden, like half of the screen is just taken up by like black
A foot.
pantlet. Uh, but for the most part, I'm able to work around it. Sometimes, though, it feels like it's just a magnet almost. It's like the ref will move, and I'm like, all right, they got in front of me. Let me move. And then as soon as I move back, all of a sudden they move back, and then I'll like go to move forward, and then they move forward too, and it's like I can't win.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
it luckily though, it never lasts for too long. Like I said, I try to work around it to the best of my ability. In my opinion, the ref's job and positioning in the ring is more important than me. It takes precedence over me. Ref is part of the show. I'm not. I'm just snapping, documenting parts of the show.
There you go. I remember I've worked with Jay Lee Photography like a lot. You know what I mean? Like they always come like from 1CW and they, do the portraits, action camera shots. I swear, I remember one time, I'm standing there, I was in the corner, I'm watching the action, they're doing their thing, tie up, all this stuff. And all of a sudden, I like kind of startled and stuff. I seen something come from between my legs. I thought like a fan or something. I looked, no, it was just, he sat right there, got the film camera right there. I was like, all right. Well, let me like, I'm gonna sit here for a second, then trying to, I didn't want to.
Yeah, no, and that's funny because I have shot in between a ref's legs before. I think I typically probably zoomed in instead of actually sticking my camera physically in between their feet. But I've definitely had to shoot in between legs before. That's funny.
Yeah, no, I see all that stuff too, man. A lot of times, lately I've been doing hard cams. So when you watch, TV, the little wide shots, I've been doing that and stuff. And yeah, I'll see the photographer, I mean, like you said, runs down over here. But then I guess, building a rapport for the wrestlers, what moves they're getting ready to do. You're probably already there, like, oh, he's getting ready to do this one, so I know I should be right here. Click, 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 boom. You know what I mean? I'll notice that. I see that because,
Yeah.
like, we'll have guys and gals, that's, wrestling for so long. They've been with photography for so long, they're like, no, like, I know when this is a setup, bam, 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 I can get a good shot here. Do you feel like that too?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Especially like I said, working with guys from the four and everything. Shooting there for a period of time, like every week, and then I go out to the shows with these guys and everything, and I've seen them in the training school working on things and whatnot. I can pick up pretty well when they're about to set up for certain things. Even guys that I've just shot with at Action and a handful of other promotions. After at least a few matches with you, I've got an idea of what some of your general moves are going to be and everything, and it definitely makes it a lot easier. Um, I saw somebody shooting a show recently, and you could tell that they'd never done it before, and it was kind of a deer in the headlights thing. Like I'd look over and they just kind of looked lost. Um, is definitely something that you gotta. It helps to know who you're shooting.
Yeah.
Um, it also, if you haven't ever shot them, if you've watched them, even just watching certain wrestlers, you watch their mannerisms. Watching TV when somebody's setting up for something, your favorite wrestler's about
Yeah.
to do something. You know what it looks like. It's the same thing ringside.
I got you on that. So, speaking of that, you're just saying, you'll see people, it's like, oh man, it's like deer in headlights and stuff. What was your first show shooting like? Were you like that a few times, deer in headlights? Like, oh man, did you get those little butterfly jitters, man, on your first match? Are there pictures of from your first match? 'Cause, I seen, your pictures and stuff on, man. You got some awesome shots and stuff. But do you have any from your very first match on there on your Instagram or whatever?
I think there are pictures from the first time I shot at the four. If you go scroll all the way back, I believe at the beginning of January, there are pictures, January 2024, that I took at the WWA four. I think Jose Manuel from Northside Heroes, I believe there's like pictures of him in there. I think A-Town Supreme. I can't remember who else was wrestling that day. It's funny, man. All those, they all start. I'm sure with reffing, it all just starts to kind of blend together. You try to
Yeah.
remember some of the things, and it's like
Hmm.
it's just all.
Yeah,
But
that's cool, man. Yeah, so you didn't really get that deer in headlights, man, first show? 'Cause, I remember my first show, I knew I was going to ref. I kind of had this like, I wasn't scared, nervous, but I was like, it was like, if you're going on a first date nervous, it's kind of like that. Like, yeah, I know what I need to do, but I'm kind of a little nervous. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to expect. But I was all right.
I don't know about deer in the headlights per se, but sweating nervous.
Okay.
Like drenched in sweat the whole show, like sweat coming my forehead, me like wiping my forehead and my hair like every 30 seconds. That definitely happened. And it's funny, that probably happened for at least a solid 6 months, first 6 months out and
Nice.
shooting stuff outside of the four. Actually getting out and shooting some of the indie promotions outside of the school.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I know a lot of the guys, gals, if when it's like their first match or whatever, they're going out there, they come out. I've seen them, I'm like, man, you got like we got like 250 people out there. That's a lot of people watching me. What I mean, then we're gonna be on TV. Oh man, I gotta go outside. It's like, you're all right. What I mean, they're more nervous than you are. What I mean, they'll never know if you act like they'll never know. You're good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
So it's I'm pretty comfortable with it now.
Yeah,
I guess some bigger promotions every now and then I might still get a little nervous, but nothing too bad.
that's pretty cool. So when you started getting into film, have you been all like digital and stuff? Do you have you ever had to develop film, like straight up sit in a dark room? Because I've done that. I've taken classes on that back in the '90s and stuff. It was like you put it in the one little chemical and then the other one, and then the last one, it kind of develops and you got to hang it there. You can't expose it to light or everything's messed up. You ever done stuff like that?
The most developing I've ever done is shot with a Polaroid camera and
Mm.
taking out the instant picture and let that thing develop real quick. I've not played around much with film at all. It's mostly been digital, especially with wrestling. Everything has been digital.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know if like you started like when you were young or something. It's like, oh man, I got this. Like it's like, oh man, here's how you develop film. Learn it's a little something like that.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into it yet. It's something I definitely would like to, a skill I'd like to get into and learn how to do, but I have not gotten there yet.
That's cool. That's cool. So I noticed you're wearing, Sabu shirt, man. What I mean? Yeah, was he one of your guys?
Yeah,
Sabu, one of your dudes?
Sabu is the man. It's very unfortunate that he's passed, but man, legend.
Hmm.
Um, definitely. It's crazy. I was showing somebody. They had a couple of Sabu. They had this shirt, which was the Sabu and Janela match shirt, and then they had just a Sabu shirt on the GCW merch site. And I was showing it to one of the guys one night, and then literally I wake up the next morning and got the news of what happened. And I'd almost bought the shirts the night before, and I was like, well, now I have to. So yeah, I grabbed both the Sabu tees, and he's just a legend, man. He had his struggles with certain things here and there, but it's just for the most part, Sabu seems like he was a great guy, and man, he wrestled like nobody else. Is
Yeah,
homicidal,
I got the.
genocidal. He hurt himself way more than
Yeah,
he ever hurt anybody else.
that's
It's just
right.
like,
I know, yeah, when he was with ECW, because I live in Delaware and they're right in Philly, they used to come here all the time. And one of my favorite matches, my brother, he doesn't really watch wrestling today. I'm 43. He's like he was born in '88, so he's a few years younger, but he'll still remember that time Sabu. It was Taz versus Sabu, and Sabu came here, wrestled with a broken jaw, and it was like all taped up and stuff. You know what I mean, like this and all like that. He's like, man, I'll never forget that. All this and oh man, yeah, it was great. To this day, if we ever talk about it, he's like, remember with Sabu, he had like a broken jaw or something, he had all taped up, and then they were like looking for him and all this stuff. And I was like, oh
legend.
yeah, Sabu, yeah, Sabu was awesome. Yeah, I always loved seeing Sabu wrestle. He was great. So, being down in Georgia, traveling to these shows, man, I hear a lot of stories of like, Sasquatch and, swamp monsters out that way. You got any crazy, traveling stories, that has happened, or is everything, pretty much standard, good to go, nothing crazy, no
No,
UFO sightings? No.
no, nothing too crazy. Eh, I'm not in the, I live closer to the city, so
Oh, okay.
you know, the biggest monster you're gonna get out here in Georgia, the swamp monster, is probably Cruel. Cruel might lurk up out the Black Lagoon on you or
There
wherever
you
it
go.
lives.
There you go. So that's about it, man. Yeah, living over by the city, all them swamp monsters, they stay away.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Now I do gotta ask, because uh, I'm always find myself watching like the same movies and TV shows over and over again, like comfort shows, man. So, is there any new shows or movies that you've watched or you've been watching recently? You could, that you're into, maybe I could check out or something.
You know what? And this goes back just if you got like Max or something.
Hmm.
One of the things I love to watch and I rewatch, and it's not new. It's old, but it's classic. I had to show my roommate the other day, man. We were rewatching The Wire.
Oh,
Um,
I love that show.
yeah.
Oh, don't give me so. Oh man, yeah. Oh shit. It's late
Anybody that
right now,
hasn't
man.
watched
It's
The
like almost my
Wire, go
bedtime.
watch
I'm
The
going to sleep after
Wire.
this. Oh man, yeah, I could talk about that show all day.
It's up there with The Sopranos, man. That's one of the
Yes.
greatest.
On season two, my buddy, I swear to God, he was like when the people were coming up and they were missing their hands and their heads and all this stuff. My buddy's like, you know what they're doing? They're just switching bodies. They're just taking their head and placing it on somebody else. So I'm like you need to put the tequila down or something, man. This ain't no sci-fi show. This is like grounded, like realistic, like No, no, he's like, I'm telling you, man, they're switching bodies. You know what I mean? Look at that. I'm just like, I don't know where he got that from or what. I was just like, okay, all right, I mean, this is HBO The Wire. I don't see any supernatural stuff in it, but it was funny.
No.
I don't know. Every time I see that show or watch it, that season two comes up and they'll show stuff like, man, we're finding all these people with it. I'm like, they're switching bodies. Oh man. Yeah, and then I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan, so they got a closer named Batista. And he comes out, but he doesn't come out to Batista music. He comes out to the Omar, Old McDonald had a farm. When he's whistling that and stuff, and they're like
Yeah.
Omar coming, and
Omar
then
coming, clearing the
yep,
streets.
yep, yeah, Omar. Oh, I watched him rob a house. He just walked up to the doorstep, turned around, lit a cigarette, and was sitting like that, and they just dropped it out the window. Like, here you go.
Pops out the window, lands in front of him. Thank you.
There you go. We don't want no trouble. Thank you.
Didn't have to do anything at all. That was the ultimate gangster move right there.
Oh yeah, I know, man. And he was still in his pajamas too, on his way to like the store or something.
Rest in peace to another legend, man.
I know. Yeah, he was in a lot of good stuff too. Yeah, a lot of stuff I see him in. I was like, man, he did a good job. Yeah. Yeah, The Wire is great. Yeah, on HBO Max, I need to catch up on the Righteous Gemstones. I've seen all the seasons, so I haven't seen the newest one yet. I need to watch that.
That's Danny McBride on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to catch up on that. I think I watched the first season.
Yeah, because I was getting on a kick. I was like, yeah, I was watching Eastbound and Down, man. I turned it on and just like, oh, I gotta finish this. So.
And being from Atlanta, being from Georgia, the whole Southern super church thing too, with righteous gemstones, it kind of hits home a little bit. So it's funny.
Hmm. Oh, I believe it, man. Now, being out there, did you were you near The Walking Dead? Did you near wherever they filmed or whatever? Or did you ever see them filming out there or anything?
Yeah, I drove past a couple signs here and there of a crew and everything. Actually, right down the street. Now, I wasn't living here when they did it, but right down the street from my house is one of the spots where they filmed a bunch of the stuff. At least from season one, I believe. Uh,
Okay.
I believe it was season one hospital.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's a spot right down the street where they filmed a bunch of it.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, because I know they're down there in Atlanta and stuff. Yeah, and it was like, oh yeah, that humidity and hotness. Whew, you can just see it on 'em. Oh man. But yeah, I do want to say, before I pass it on back to Remy, I want to say, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come chat with us, man. I had a blast. I wish you nothing but your success, continued success. Getting those awesome shots. I hope you get to travel from Georgia to the East Coast to the West Coast and all around. And keep on doing your thing, man.
Matt, it was an honor to have you on here. Keep on, bringing those great shots. We really and truly appreciate it. Before we shut this show down, and like I said, when we see you make it to WWE or AEW or TNA, we'll definitely be rooting for you, man. We'll definitely be, cheering. But oh wait, did we lose him?
Right? Yeah, I think we lost him for a second.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because he went
Okay.
his screen went black on mine.
It
I
happens.
guess he got.
It happens,
Yeah,
y'all.
it's
But
all right.
Before we'll wait for him to come back for a bit, but we just got two big announcements. One of them, I really and truly don't like this part, but recently we lost several great legends. We lost Steve Mongo McMichael, who was a member of the Four Horsemen in the '90s. We lost the homicidal, genocidal, suicide. Okay, so Matt said his phone died. His phone died.
Mm.
Um, Let me see.
It'll probably be a few minutes before he gets some juice on his phone, man.
Yeah, we'll do
But it
these
was
announcements.
cool having him on, man.
Oh, actually, he's back on. Here we
Oh, he's
go.
back. Okay. All right.
Hey, Matt, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It happens, man. Trust me, it happens. But we're just making a quick announcement, real quick. So for those of y'all watching, we really and truly we actually lost three, four great people recently in professional wrestling. One of them was Steve Mongo McMichael, who was the a member of the Four Horsemen back in the '90s, and he was a former United States champion as well. That's crazy. Like he went from one great football career to being successful in pro wrestling. Unfortunately, we lost him. We also recently lost the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal uh, former ECW heavyweight champion Sabu, who was definitely no joke in the ring. We also lost Rick Derringer, who actually was the composer for several WWE themes. I believe he was the one that did Real American for by Hulk Hogan, which was actually fun fact, the former entrance theme for the American Express, which was the team of Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, um, who are actually the late great Bray Wyatt and current WWE superstar Bo Dallas's father and uncle, respectively. But we unfortunately lost Rick Derringer, a very talented guy, and we also lost Max Justice as well, who also wrestled briefly for WWE. And it's very sad when you lose somebody because you won't get to see them again, and you're also losing all you have is the memories. You're losing the knowledge that they have with them in regards to the sport. So our thoughts and prayers go out to their families, and it's pretty sad. Um, and I just gotta ask, what memories do y'all have of Steve McMichael? Like, before because we're gonna do a 10 bell salute, but mine has always been that one time he went toe to toe with Kama, and he was still standing. Like he was not. Don't get me wrong, Kama, aka or now known as the Godfather, was no joke. I mean, he was a man that was about his business, and Steve Mongo McMichael stood up to him. So, Rob and Matt, if you don't mind, what any fond memories you guys have of Steve McMichael and also of Sabu as well?
You can go.
I was just gonna say, I saw plenty of Steve Mongo McMichael growing up. He played a major part in the NWO, and that's just in general is probably what I remember of him. There's not any specific instances that stand out per se, but just him in that black leather jacket.
Awesome,
And
Rob. How about you?
Sabu.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
sorry.
Oh no, you
Go ahead,
go.
man.
And I was gonna say Sabu, man. There's really too many to name. Sabu is crazy. There's still matches I'm discovering, so it's just too much with him.
All right, Rob. How about you?
Man, Mongo. I remember with Goldberg's like first real feud was against I think Mongo, and they were feuding over his Super Bowl ring or whatever for the '86 Bears. And I remember like him coming back, like Goldberg, I think Goldberg was kind of a heel back then. It was like his first real thing. I was like, oh man, Mongo's going to tear him up or whatever. But Goldberg won and continued that streak on and all this stuff. And I was like, all right. Plus, Mongo's Four Horsemen. Flair's my favorite wrestler. You know what I mean? Yeah, Mongo. And they threw him in the deep end, little training, and it was like sink or swim. And he said, "F it, I'm gonna swim. I'm gonna do my thing. Do the best I can do." And I mean, I gotta give it to him for that. I mean, Mongo was the man. Plus, my dad is a Bears fan, and the '86 Bears, he will say, is like the greatest defense, on the planet Earth, in the universe, the galaxy, whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, shout to Mongo. Sabu, yeah, like I said earlier, when me and Matt and I were talking, my little brother, like him and Taz, with the broken jaw and stuff, to this day he still talks about that. So R.I.P. God.
Yeah, so I remember Sabu when even after I didn't know about him in ECW, but I knew about him in WCW. That's where I first saw him, '95, and I remember him actually he would fight the mysterious JL, who was actually Jerry Lynn under a mask. And even after he won the match, he was still trying to fight him, trying to put him through a table. I'm like, what is this guy's issue, man? Like, he won the match. Be out. But he was still he was still going at it, and the man did whatever he wanted, and he would definitely be missed. Especially to hardcore wrestling fans, he would definitely be missed. And it's crazy how life is, because I actually got to meet the guy um, at a Knox Pro show that same WrestleMania week, and someone was telling me, "Yo, Remy, go over there and take a picture with the guy." And I'm the kind of person, I don't like to take pictures with wrestlers outside of meet and greets, because I feel like I don't want to get in their way. It's their time to unwind. I'm not one of those fans that is going to see them at the airport or the hotels, or even if they're at a restaurant and ask, "Hey, can I get an autograph?" Like, no, I would see them and just be like, "Hey, I'm not trying to bother you, but I just want to say, great work," and I keep on moving. As something told me, something, Remy, just swallow your pride. Um, just yes, you're a fan, but you're not being obnoxious. Just go and ask the man for a picture. And I actually ended up getting a picture with him. He's pretty cool about it. And now, several weeks later, we hear that he passed away, unfortunately, and he just had his last match too. So that's just crazy how life is. Life is, which is unpredictable. But R.I.P. Sabu, R.I.P. Steve McMichael, R.I.P. Rick Derringer, and Max Justice. R.I.P. You guys. Thank you for the matches and memories. So with that being said, before we do our cool outro, before we ask Matt for his social media links, we're just gonna do a quick 10 bell salute, and then we will resume the show. So without further ado, here we go. Thank you guys for the matches and memories. So with that being said, um, Matt, I just gotta ask you. We just gotta ask you before we shut the show down. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next appearance is? When they want to see your work? Where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
So I post everything. All my work is on Instagram and Twitter, and that's where I do the majority of my communication as well. Instagram, you'll find me at Mr. Period Watkins period photo, and that's with Mr. spelled out Mister. I'm also on Twitter, Watkins Pro Photo. You'll see more on Instagram than on Twitter, but I do post on both.
Awesome. So for those of y'all that are watching, make sure you follow this man. He's incredible. If you're a fan of ringside photography, if you're a fan of any photography, pretty much any photography, sports photography, or just photography in general, make sure you shoot this man a follow and show some love to Mr. Watkins. With that being said, once again, we just want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to do this. We really truly appreciate it. Now, with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that particular order, but I forgot one more thing. Rob, guys, don't get old. It's not fun. You do things like that. Our summer giveaway is happening, and we will be what we will be giving away. You heard it here first, and you're gonna hear it again when we do when we do an official announcement, probably later on tonight. We will be giving away one copy of WB 2K25 for PlayStation 5 and one copy for WB 2K, one copy for WB 2K25 for Xbox X as well, too, Series X. So um, we have the questions already. We will actually make the full announcement with the questions on Instagram either later on tonight or tomorrow. But all we're going to say is the thing is you have to answer all the questions correctly, which are just three, and you know they'll be based questions. So make sure you study up on your trivia for that because, like I said, once you answer all three, you'll be in the running for either a PlayStation 5 version of WB 2K24 or a 2K25 or a Xbox version of WB 2K25. So stay tuned for that. But with that being said, once again, it's time for us to shut this show down. Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Sean Spencer to my Burton Guster, and the Eminem to my Royce the 5'9". Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out where your next appearance is, purchase Rob Bass merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Instagram Rob underscore base 82 and Facebook Rob Base. You can catch me. We got one CW going on. We got You can catch me on there, 1CW. Just go to DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com. Go. You can catch up all the shows from episode 1 to all the way to now. You might see me ring announce. You might see me get beat up. You might see me rev. You might see all kinds of stuff. But yeah, definitely check us out. And this summer, 1CW, we're doing all kinds of things. So definitely follow 1CW because we're doing festivals. We're going to be at a minor league baseball game. Wrestling. You know what I mean? Outside. Seventh inning stretch. We're going to have wrestling. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're doing all kinds of stuff this year. So definitely stay tuned and keep up 1CW.
Rob, for whatever I know you like tacos, but whatever you do, please don't go to the taco festival and actually ref with a taco in your hand, bro.
Oh, I couldn't do that. Yeah, my belly would be too full. I'd just be like, oh yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have to slap my hands for a count. Yeah.
But yes, y'all check out 1CW. They're a great company, great group of men and women there. Shout out to Sean Hardy and Sean Carlson doing great things, with that promotion as well. And with that being said, if you want to find me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places. You can definitely find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Remy Blue, Blue Sky at RemyBlue.bsky.social. I'm on Facebook, also under the alias Remy Blue as well. And I'm also on TikTok at the Remy Blue. That's where you'll find me, and you'll see some cool videos there as well. And our podcast is on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, all at Ringside Society. Just type it in, you'll find us. We're also on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. And we're also on Spotify. We're also on Teespring, where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have t-shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs. So cop some merch. All proceeds go back into keeping our show afloat. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where you can see cool interviews like this one, like the one recently we had with Salem Alexander, and also Faith Apollo, the CEO of Apollo's Kitchen, and Luisa Fernanda, who is a Miami-based wrestling fan as well. You can find all of those episodes on YouTube, and to see them, it's not difficult. It's not rocket science. It's not even free algebra. Just go on YouTube and type in Ringside Society. I want you to see that really good looking dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it. That's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. As a matter of fact, hey yo Rob, you think I should tell them about what we got coming up in the next couple
Yeah,
of days?
let's do it. Yeah,
All right,
let's
here we
do it.
go. So first up, tomorrow we will be having another guest. Yes, this time, oh Rob, you're gonna love this one. We'll be having referee Rosie Jones. That's right. She's a woman who actually, well, a rose who actually grows out of adversity. I gotta ask her about that too. That's a pretty cool saying. But we'll be having referee Rosie Jones um tomorrow, I believe at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be 6 o'clock p.m. for my West Coast riders. So make sure you tune in because we'll be giving you a story from a referee's point of view. And then Friday, Matt, I know you know this guy. I know you definitely know this guy. We'll be having Le Prince, um, de Port-au-Prince. I think that's how he says it. I don't know. We'll be having back again Zamir Zuriel. He'll be joining us and he'll be telling us how things have been going for him so far. And on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. in the morning, we will be having our Money in the Bank prediction show as well. So we don't have a special guest announced yet, but we will be doing it. So make sure you actually tune in because we got some cool stuff coming up, and we're not gonna stop. So once again, to those of you that tuned in tonight, thank you very much. We really and truly appreciate it. We strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could, should, and would listen to, and we're not gonna stop being that. To those of you that are going to listen later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really truly wish we'd go away. Well, like myself at Golden Corral and Rob Base at a taco festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want to let everybody know we're very well and aware. We see it. We get it. Everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag, we are not the same. Hey, yo, Rob Base. One time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the ever so talented Matt Watkins, owner of Mr. Watkins Photography.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. We'll be back tomorrow with another impressive guest, another impressive episode. But until then, we just have 4 favors for y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and enjoy wrestling. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Stay classy, Delaware. Peace.